Hello, this is a quick book review for Being Henry David by Cal Armistead. On a scale from 1 to 10, I would give this book a 9. And, the basic thing for this book is when you've lost your past, you have to live in the present. Because what if one day you woke up in the middle of nowhere and you had no memories of who you were? That's what happens to Hank. He just woke up in a crowded train station with the same issue. He can't remember who he is or where he came from. The only clue he had to his past is an old copy of Walden Pond by Henry David Thoreau. This boy Henry he takes his name from Henry David Thoreau so he can have some identity to cling to, because this is the only clue to his past life he has. And since this is the only thing he has to his past life, he tries to hold on to this book as best as he can, because he thinks that it'll take him back to where he belongs. And he thinks that maybe if he goes back to Walden Pond, he can figure out who he really is. A minor character in this book is Jack. Jack is pretty much the first friend that Henry makes, but Jack has some issues. He is a drug dealer who works for this creepy old guy, and he's just trying to keep his sister safe while they live in the streets of New York. Just two kids who ran away from home. It's a little crazy, but it works, I guess, for them until they find something better. But Jack takes Henry in and teaches him kind of how he can make it by on the streets for a little bit until he figures out that he actually has to be on the run for something that he did with Jack, and he runs from the cops for a while. One of the external conflicts in the book is that Henry has to deal with the police that are chasing after him for something that happened with Jack that he's not really responsible for, but you can learn all about that if you read the book. And another one would be nature, because Henry and Jack spend a lot of time out in the wilderness by themselves, trying to survive pretty much, so the nature is against them most of the time. And the biggest issue for Henry is how he has to deal with not knowing who he is, and he just tries to figure out what he can become from all of this. And I gave this book a 9 because it was really interesting. It just kept driving me to continue to read it, and I didn't want to put it down a lot of the time because it was really emotional at some points where, I don't want to give anything away, but where Henry was figuring out more of his past, and it's just, there's a lot of crazy stuff in there. So if you are interested in any sort of mystery, self-driving novels, this would be a good one for you to check out. Alright, and that's all for me. Thanks for listening.